Hello, I'm Phoenix City Councilman Michael Nowakowski from District 7. Coming up on this edition of Destination Phoenix Sky Harbor, Phoenix welcomes 2 new additional airlines, providing additional low-cost opportunities to cities throughout the United States and Mexico. Plus, the Phoenix SkyTrain is already a big success, and there's more to come. We'll show you what's next for the SkyTrain. And new restaurants are continuing to open in Sky Harbor's busiest terminals. Details on that and more coming up on Destination Phoenix Sky Harbor.
An important modernization of Terminal 3 is underway. What's next and what does it mean to passengers at Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport? And, like the song goes, sign, sign, everywhere a sign. See how signs at Sky Harbor go from concept to creation. Plus, meet the volunteers and students who are keeping the neighborhood around Sky Harbor looking good. These are just some of the stories we'll be telling you about in this edition of Destination Phoenix Sky Harbor. Welcome to Destination Phoenix Sky Harbor. I'm Deborah Ostreicher. As fun as it can be to shop and dine at America's friendliest airport, we know it's about ultimately getting to and from your destination. Julie Rodriguez tells us about 2 new airlines coming to the airport, as well as a merger between 2 longtime competitors.
The merger of U.S. Airways and American Airlines, creating the new American, is in motion.
It couldn't be better for the city of Phoenix as well to now have our hub, the U.S. Airways hub, and now it will be the American hub, cemented to the largest network in the world, and forevermore having a solid presence here in Phoenix.
With the merger made final late last year, U.S. Airways frequent flyers are already able to use dividend miles to book travel on American. As the 2 airlines combine their operations at Sky Harbor, passengers should be sure to confirm which terminal they're departing from before coming to the airport. Skyharbor.com is an excellent one-stop source for information.
The merger of U.S. Airways and American at Sky Harbor isn't the only major air service news. Late last year, 2 new airlines launched service here, Spirit Airlines and Volaris.
Phoenix Mayor Greg Stanton, members of the Phoenix City Council, city officials, business leaders, and even baseball legend Luis Gonzalez arrived at Phoenix Sky Harbor on the inaugural Volaris Airlines flight from Guadalajara to Phoenix. Volaris offers the lowest fares to people who book up to 10 months in advance. This airline is working to attract travelers who currently take long bus rides to visit family in Mexico.
It is very important that these people learn that they can fly for the same amount of money that they are using the buses, and that they can connect to their communities back in Mexico at a very, very low fare if they anticipate themselves and they start learning to purchase with some anticipation.
We have so many people that actually have family members in Guadalajara that would love to visit their family members or go to a wedding or to a celebration, and for about $250 you can do that.
1, 2, 3.
Another airline which prides itself on ultra-low fares, Spirit Airlines, launched service from Phoenix Sky Harbor last fall.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. We also look forward to a long, mutual, and prosperous relationship with the Sky Harbor Airport.
Spirit flies nonstop between Sky Harbor and several cities, including Dallas-Fort Worth, Chicago, Denver, and Minneapolis.
On behalf of Mayor Stanton and the entire City Council, we would like to welcome Spirit Airlines to Sky Harbor.
People want to come here. They want to come and visit. Folks like Spirit Airlines make that easier, more affordable, more possible for them to do so.
We are hoping that this will be only the start of much more service to come at Sky Harbor.
For Destination Phoenix Sky Harbor, I'm Julie Rodriguez.
Many frequent flyers like to carry an empty sport bottle with them so they can fill it up on the other side of security. Now Sky Harbor makes it even easier to stay hydrated. Specially designed water bottle refilling stations are in all 3 terminals after the security checkpoint. The water stations provide chilled, filtered water, which means passengers don't have to buy a new bottle of water after getting to their gate. What's more, the water stations reduce the amount of disposable plastic bottles, and that's good for the environment. And best of all, it's free. Since opening to the public in April of 2013, the Phoenix SkyTrain has become an iconic fixture here at Phoenix Sky Harbor, and the passengers love it. Heather Listener tells us how the SkyTrain is exceeding all expectations.
Passengers aboard the Phoenix SkyTrain during the late morning of July 15th arrived at the Terminal 4 Phoenix SkyTrain station to much fanfare as employees and volunteer navigators cheered and welcomed the train carrying the millionth passenger.
We were watching the news last night and it was talking about the SkyTrain and being the millionth passenger. And I told her, I said, that would be crazy if we were on that millionth train. She's like, no, I don't think we'll be the millionth. And then on our way over here, I said, remember, we might be on the millionth train. And then when the guy got on there and announced that we were on the millionth train, we were happy, we were laughing. So, because this is such a neat, for people that are from out of town and don't know where they're going, it is a good way to get, from here to the light rail without having to worry about, taking a cab.
In its first year of operation, Phoenix SkyTrain ridership has surpassed expectations. Original estimates projected approximately 7,000 riders per day. However, the Phoenix SkyTrain has seen, on average, more than 10,000 passengers per day since opening in April 2013. The eagerly anticipated Phoenix SkyTrain opened April 8, 2013. It provides a vital and seamless link between the airport and the community.
I believe that Phoenix SkyTrain will forever be known as one of the greatest, most forward-thinking projects of our time. Planning years and years and years ago, building today, and lasting well into the future, the SkyTrain is an amazing state-of-the-art customer service amenity.
The Phoenix SkyTrain provides a short 5-minute ride between Valley Metro Light Rail, East Economy Parking, and Sky Harbor's busiest terminal, Terminal 4. It operates 24 hours a day with predictable travel times. Trains arrive at the stations about every 3 minutes during peak periods. Free to ride, travelers find it easy to use and convenient.
Our tried to see it's pretty good. Pretty nice ride. It's cool, it's calm, and it's fast.
Travelers can park in East Economy and catch the train, or connect with the Valley Metro Light Rail at the 44th Street Station. From the 44th Street Station, it is only a quick 5-minute ride to the terminal. Passengers arrive at the Terminal 4 station, which is conveniently located on Level 3. Both stations offer kiosks to print boarding passes, early bag check on participating airlines, and pet parks for those traveling with their 4-legged friends. The 44th Street Station also offers short-term parking meters and a cell phone waiting lot, making it a handy alternative for those dropping off or picking up loved ones flying from Terminal 4. And beginning in early 2015, travelers will be able to take the Phoenix SkyTrain to all terminals as Stage 1A of the project opens. In fact, airport visitors will see construction underway on the Terminal 3 station and train guideways. When open, the Terminal 3 station will provide another easy link for travelers to exit the train and walk to their gates. Terminal 2 passengers will be able to take a short walkway from the Terminal 3 station.
It's going to make it immensely more customer friendly. People are going to move quicker, they're going to have more time for themselves, and as we've always said, this is the front door to the state of Arizona, and the train just really intensifies the positive feeling people are going to have about it. It's just so exciting, to have basically transformed the ground transportation here and to see the light rail connection to the airport train. And think about all of the people that now reside in Phoenix, Tempe, and Mesa that are going to have direct rail access to the airport. Just unbelievable.
In the future, the Phoenix SkyTrain will serve the rental car center. For more information on the Phoenix SkyTrain, visit skyharbor.com/PHX SkyTrain. For Destination Phoenix Sky Harbor, I'm Heather Listener.
The appreciation of the Phoenix SkyTrain doesn't stop with riders. The Phoenix SkyTrain has also received recognition from the prestigious Valley Forward Environmental Excellence Awards, which selected it to receive the first place Criscordia Award in the Multimodal Transportation and Connectivity category. In addition, the glass mural project incorporated into the walls of the walkways connecting Terminal 4 and the Phoenix SkyTrain station was recognized with an Award of Merit in the Art in Public Places category. We have a lot more still to come on this edition of Destination Phoenix Sky Harbor, including a look at Phoenix Mayor Greg Stanton volunteering here again with our Navigators. And we'll tell you what's in store for the modernization of Terminal 3 right after this break.
Looking for flight updates, parking rates, or details on ground transportation? Check out our mobile website, skyharbor.com, for the latest information. The user-friendly site gives a listing of food and shops in the terminals, helps you get from the terminals to Metro Light Rail, provides up-to-the-minute flight information, and describes Sky Harbor's various amenities. The mobile website also has a feedback tab to let us know about your Sky Harbor experience. So, if you're on the go and need information quickly, visit skyharbor.com on your smartphone or tablet. Check it out.
Have you noticed all of the new restaurants popping up in Terminal 4? Local dining favorites as well as nationally recognized brands have garnered lots of attention and plenty of fans. There are about 20 new eateries located throughout Terminal 4, both pre- and post-security, but that's just the beginning. A dozen more food concepts are expected to open through spring of 2014. Local hotspots that specialize in things from big breakfasts to boutique ice cream are sure to satisfy every traveler's palate. Coffee shops are still popular places when you're flying in or out of Sky Harbor, and Java lovers can get their fix at their choice of local or national cafes throughout the airport. Keep up with the newest eatery openings at skyharbor.com. No one appreciates the hard work of our Navigator volunteers more than Phoenix Mayor Greg Stanton, who recently stepped into their shoes for the day. Since 2010, the Sky Harbor Navigators have been a welcome and welcoming sight throughout America's friendliest airport. More than 400 volunteers serve as Navigators. They range from students to retirees, all with one characteristic in common: they have a passion for helping people. Being a Navigator volunteer takes commitment and energy. If you think you have what it takes to be a Navigator, log on to skyharbor.com/volunteer for more information. When Terminal 3 opened in 1979, the airport served 7 million passengers. In 1985, when the airport served 11 million passengers, Terminal 3 was expanded. Well, now that we're serving over 40 million passengers, it's time to update Terminal 3 once again. Greg Roybal has a story about what's happening at Terminal 3 to better serve our passengers.
Frequent flyers through America's friendliest airport are used to seeing changes. More restaurants and new modes of transportation, like the Phoenix SkyTrain, are just two examples. One of the biggest improvements to a major part of the airport is happening right now, even though you won't see construction just yet. Terminal 3 is in the early stages of a modernization program that is expected to last 5 years and breathe new life into an old standby.
The Terminal Modernization Project has 3 goals. The first is to provide a consistent level of service to all of our travelers here at Phoenix Sky Harbor. The second goal is really important, is to make sure we create an airport that is efficient to operate both for the airport and for our business partners. And the third goal is to do so in an incremental fashion. So we do this in a way that makes sense to our business partners and minimizes the disruptions to our traveling public.
Work on the ambitious project has already started.
In the next 6 months, the Terminal Modernization Project will be doing behind-the-scenes work, where we investigate the utilities, we make sure to understand all the parts of the terminal as they operate, and then we plan very carefully how the project's going to roll out over the next 5 years.
Design and construction work on the modernization project has been given to a joint venture between Hunt Construction Group and Austin Industries. Improvements to Terminal 3 will also increase capacity to serve 5 million customers a year. The whole process has been likened to building a terminal inside a terminal. Despite all the changes in store, Terminal 3 will remain operational during construction in order for businesses to remain open without interruption. In fact, as design and construction continue, the evolving picture of what Terminal 3 will look like will come into clearer focus.
The first part of the Terminal Modernization Program is to expand the checkpoints both at the north and south side of the airport to make sure that we ensure that our customers can reach their gate. And being America's friendliest airports, one of the things we do to be friendly is to make sure that people can quickly travel through the airport as well as have a great experience while doing so.
As part of the ongoing improvements at Sky Harbor, the Phoenix SkyTrain extension to Terminal 3 is expected to be complete before the Super Bowl arrives in 2015.
That's a great opportunity for our customers to be able to reach out, to use light rail, to reach Terminal 3, and it's an important component as we continue to modernize the facilities here at Phoenix Sky Harbor.
Keep up with news about this project as it becomes available at skyharbor.com. For Destination Phoenix Sky Harbor, I'm Greg Roybal.
Many flyers returned to the airport to finish a trip, but one passenger made a point of coming back to Sky Harbor to say thank you to the people who saved his life. In a heartfelt ceremony, Paul Mercurio and his family returned to Sky Harbor to meet with Phoenix police officers and firefighters who helped save Paul's life when he fell ill at the airport the previous week.
I've been through a lot of things, but this was one of the worst times I think I've ever had. And I was glad to know that we had such capable people on hand to take care of me.
The life-saving efforts were the direct result of quick thinking by Phoenix police officers. After Paul and his family arrived from Pittsburgh in Terminal 4, he began to have difficulty breathing, and 2 police officers noticed him in distress. Sergeant Robert Griffin called Phoenix Fire while Officer Forrest Connor retrieved an automatic external defibrillator, or an AED. The officers administered a shock with the AED before another officer, Paul Rooks, began giving CPR. Emergency workers from Phoenix Fire Station 19 arrived to stabilize Mr. Mercurio for transport. Paul Mercurio didn't make it to the wedding he'd come to Phoenix to attend, but his family joined him in the airport so he could extend his appreciation to everyone who had a hand in the quick response to save his life. Phoenix Fire Department paramedics have taught CPR to more than 2,000 airport employees and volunteer navigators. More than 85 AEDs are available at Phoenix Sky Harbor, Deer Valley, and Phoenix Goodyear airports. Every day, more than 1,200 planes take off and land at Sky Harbor, and recently one of them stood out from all of the rest. Sarah Brown has the story.
They don't call it the Valley of the Sun for nothing. Phoenix is a prime place to generate solar power, and panels are seen on rooftops everywhere, including at the airport. The possibilities of what it can generate are exciting, especially when it comes to traveling. And that was clear when the world's most advanced solar airplane landed at Sky Harbor.
Solar impulse is a symbol of what we should do in our world in the 21st century. Not to replace all the airplanes with solar airplanes. No, this is maybe for much further in the future. But to show that technologies now can achieve absolutely impossible things, like flying day and night on solar power.
Last year, Solar Impulse stopped at Sky Harbor as the first leg of a nationwide flight designed to bring awareness about the potential of solar energy.
This plane is a remarkable feat of engineering and sustainability combined. And the plane goes beyond its 12 1,000 solar panels and the ability to fly 24 hours without a single drop of fuel. It goes beyond actually recreating the mold for innovation in aviation as the years move forward. It actually embodies the very heart of sustainability and opportunity that is driving us all forward.
This flight across America is not just a big first for aviation, and not only a milestone for aeronautic, it's also very symbolic from the philosophical point of view.
And that symbolism wasn't missed on the hundreds of people who were privileged to see the plane.
We are amazed that we have the opportunity to see history like this in the making. We've got solar collectors in the house, and we know they didn't just start that way, so we're looking at this like a Wright brothers point in history.
This is a chance of a lifetime to see something that could revolutionize the way that we fly.
We still have a lot of pioneering spirits to use for the future, for the 21st century. And the challenges are maybe less about conquering the world than about preserving or improving the quality of life on this planet.
Solar Impulse has the same wingspan as a 747, yet only allows room for one person on board. And while Pilot Picard may have been physically alone in the plane, there were technically a ton of passengers right there with him.
We've been carrying the names of our first supporters inside the cockpit as virtual passengers, and the goal is to have more and more people as long as we fly across the United States and then around the world in 2015. We deeply believe that a lot of people have good ideas, but they are isolated, they don't know how to work together and to join forces, and we try to make this platform around Solar Impulse for them to join together and have more power all together.
In this era of sustainability, Solar Impulse reminds us what can be accomplished by working together.
It's for innovation, it's for passion, but it's for new clean technologies that our world needs. And if we can use them in our airplane, of course we can use them everywhere in our world.
And who knows, one day when you fly out of Phoenix, you just might be on a plane powered by the sun. For Destination Phoenix Sky Harbor, I'm Sarah Brown.
There's a lot more still to come on this edition of Destination Phoenix Sky Harbor, including a behind-the-scenes look on how an airport sign goes from concept to reality. And we'll take a look at how a group of motivated students teams up with Sky Harbor volunteers to clean up an airport neighborhood. Stick around after this break.
Customer service is one of our top priorities at Sky Harbor International Airport. The Navigators are Sky Harbor's team of trained volunteers who are always ready to answer your questions and provide assistance. Just look for their purple jackets or shirts and their smiling faces. Whether you have a question about a flight, or the location of your gate, or where to get a bite to eat, Navigators will have the answers right at their fingertips. All you have to do is ask. If you'd like to provide feedback about our customer service, go to our mobile website at skyharbor.com and click on the Feedback tab.
Signs are everywhere at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport, and it can be easy to take them for granted until you need one that isn't there. It's already a really busy place, but just imagine if there weren't signs to tell you where to park, find ground transportation, or pick up your baggage. Jim Peterson tells us just exactly what goes into making a sign from start to finish.
Signs surround us everywhere we go, in stores, on streets, and even on the sides of moving vehicles. At Sky Harbor, it's no coincidence there's a sign right where you need it most. Let's look at how these signs go from planning to hanging over our heads.
We've got a wide range of capabilities here. We can produce not only wayfinding signage, but regulatory signage, stop signs, speed limit signs, etc. We also do awards, plaques, and trophies. We can do pictures that you would hang on your walls, and we also do the nameplates that you see on your outside of your cubicles and offices.
Signage is a big deal at Sky Harbor. Thousands of customers rely on signage, big and small, to help them navigate through the airport. In fact, each sign is strategically located to help ensure customers have a positive experience.
A great signage system will capture about 90% of our passengers, so there's always going to be a percentage of people that we just won't catch. So we try to sign for the primary destinations that our passengers are looking for: ticketing, check-in, bag claim, gates, etc.
The process of planning and creating a sign is an extensive one, beginning with an airport signage committee that meets to address where signs may be needed.
Right here in the sign shop, we can recreate new messages and we can install them ourselves. We don't need a contractor. So say, for example, you have a new airline come to the airport. It's very easy for us to update those signs and take out the old messages and put the new ones in.
It takes a lot to manage airport signage. Sky Harbor has a team that works full-time to ensure signage is done right.
We have received so much positive feedback from our customers and our tenants and other airport users. It's just been very rewarding to know that we've had such a positive impact on our customers, and I've really enjoyed being a part of it.
Customer feedback plays an important role, which helps Sky Harbor determine what a sign should say, how big it should be, and where it should be placed.
We have to ensure that we sign correctly for our passengers and listen to what the feedback is from our passengers, and certainly take into consideration any feedback that we get.
Sky Harbor has developed an airport signage master plan. This plan took several years to complete, and it addresses key areas that are important to customers. The master plan helps the team stay on track to ensure customers continue to have a positive experience using the airport. For Destination Phoenix Sky Harbor, I'm Jim Peterson.
The Transportation Security Administration has expanded its PreCheck program to all 3 terminals at Sky Harbor. Frequent flyers of participating airlines and members of U.S. Customs and Border Protection Trusted Traveler programs can take advantage of expedited screening benefits. TSA PreCheck allows eligible participants to use dedicated screening lanes that allow them to leave on their shoes and light outerwear such as jackets. They also don't need to take their laptops and 311 compliant liquids out of their carry-on bags. Here's how it works. Applicants must be U.S. citizens, U.S. national or lawful permanent residents, and cannot have been convicted of certain crimes. Applicants must visit an application center to provide biographic information, fingerprints, and valid required identity and citizenship immigration documentation. There's a center located right here at Sky Harbor in Terminal 4. You can also pre-enroll online to provide basic information and make an appointment before visiting an enrollment center. There's a non-refundable application fee which is required. TSA is accepting applications. Go to www.tsa.gov/TSA PreCheck for more information. A group of local and national businesses have come together to form the Support Sky Harbor Coalition. This organization works to support the airport and the community that surrounds it. Recently, they gathered hundreds of their members, community members, and students to help beautify an airport neighborhood. It was a great day of hard work and giving back for everyone involved. Support Sky Harbor organizes neighborhood cleanups twice a year. Details are available at supportskyharbor.org. Well, that does it for another edition of Destination Phoenix Sky Harbor. I'm Deborah Ostreicher, wishing you safe travels. We'll see you soon. Until next time.